Spicy Mixed Spice Garden Tour. Today is June 11th as of recording. Right now I have about 10 plants in grow bags in the backyard that I'll be showing. And of these 10 plants, 9 of them are peppers and 1 of them is a tomato. And I've also got 4 in solo cups by the front door that I haven't found decent containers for, and I might be going over those later. So this over here is an Ahi Charapita crossed with Thor's Thunderbolt. I believe it's an F2. It was gifted to me by a member of the Pepper Lovers Discord who goes by Wombus. It seems like a handful of members of the Discord are growing this early cross, and we'll be comparing the phenos later and deciding which ones to isolate. So second to fourth generations is where you see a lot of variation because of recessive genes and whatnot. So those are when you want to plant many plants and see what the more interesting traits are. And this is definitely an interesting cross. I really don't know what to expect. Up next we got the Ahi Guayana. I think I got these sorted alphabetically with selection sort in O of n squared time, but we'll see if I did it properly soon enough. This, like the Charapita cross, was gifted by Wombus. I've actually had this pepper before. I believe it was sent to me in a care package from another Discord member, Pepper Ranger, a few years back. Just a wild guess, I think this might be from the country Guyana, as indicated by the name Ahi Guayana. From what I heard, it's a very fast-growing and heavily producing plant, and that's definitely the case here, but that's also because I top pruned it early on, because it kept falling over because of a higher center of mass. So I chopped it down. Next up is Ahi Mango, which I got from Cross Country Nursery, aka chiliplants.com end of season sale. My research shows that there's actually 2 popular varieties that are sitting on the name Ahi Mango. One taking a general habanero type shape, estimated around 25,000 Scovilles, and then the other one, which is the one that I'm growing, generally has a longer shape at around 100,000 Scovilles. Both, capsicum bacatum and orange. So now on to the only tomato I'm growing, the Beefmaster VFN hybrid. It seems to be a cross that was bred to be resistant to a trio of common tomato diseases, represented by the VFN in the name. Don't really know much about growing tomatoes. I got this plant stake because those are recommended for tomatoes. I know that tomato cages are better, but the Home Depot I went to said they had them in stock on their website, but in typical Home Depot fashion, they were nowhere to be found, so I settled with these. So next up is Chero Roxa or Chero Roxa or Roja. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. This is also from Cross Country Nursery. I think this should end up having orange, pink, or purple coloration depending on ripeness and sun exposure. The whole anthocyanins and whatnot stuff going on, which might be covering similar ground to the CGN 21500 I was growing last year or maybe the year before. Regardless, I think it provides good variation in appearance to what else I'm growing. Next up, and I'm noticing now that it's breaking alphabetical order, is the supposed white variant of the Carolina Reaper, again from Cross Country Nursery. I told myself I was going to lay off Super Hots this year, but this sounded so cool, and now I got a Super Hot in a 5-gallon bag. The website gave it ambiguous origins, and it's probably not a natural hybrid, but instead a cross with some other pepper that's not named. I was told it's not stabilized yet, so I could expect a lot of non-white fruit as well. I remember there was this Reaper and 7-pot white hybrid going around, so it might be that. Part of the reason I broke my no Super Hot rule this year is because one of my favorite bands is named White Reaper, so I was inclined to get this to, I guess, represent. And also because I've never grown white hot peppers either, so there's nowhere else to start except from the top of the chain. And next up I got what is debatably the crown jewel of the pepper growers community, and what is also my favorite pepper, the King Star Lament Starburst. I think this is my 4th season out of 5 growing this, with the exception being my first growing season. I'd really consider this to be a staple of my garden, and similar to past seasons, it's starting short with these bigger leaves rather than, many small leaves. And hopefully it takes off soon. I started this pretty late, actually. It's not really tall enough to the point where I would feel comfortable topping it to force it to grow bushier. And in the school year, I actually had 4 plants started hydroponically, and I thought they would survive being in the apartment alone for a week during spring break, but they didn't, and I restarted again, and when I finally moved them back home in the grow tent, they started dying unexpectedly, with this one being the lone survivor. My thumb is not as green as it used to be, and I've probably killed more plants this year so far than the past 2 combined. I might end up pushing it to 3 during the season. Up next is an F2 cross of the Matapino and a Purple Flash, the former being one of the plants I killed twice this year. I was gifted 2 of these from Wombus, but ended up killing the one with solid purple foliage for some reason, I don't know. I'm noticing it has some fruit set on it, which I will be plucking off in favor of better mass cultivation on the plant body. Wombus said that this was a cross from another grower on the Discord who goes by Fish with a PH. I did also try growing a Matapino crossed with a Thunder Mountain Longhorn earlier this year, but it was another one of the plants I managed to kill twice. Now I got the red Scotch bonnet, not the MOA type, because cross-country nurseries were sold out of those. I'm long overdue for growing Scotch bonnets. They seem pretty popular, and non-pepper growers' faces tend to light up when they recognize this among the other alien or demonic sounding names I throw out when I start talking about peppers. And the last of these should be the red Thai pepper. I got this and the tomato plant because my mom wanted a plant for larger tomatoes, and to also grow what the Indian grocery store refers to as lala mirch, which is very unspecific. I believe it translates to red chili, and it's most likely Thai chilies or bird's eye peppers that they were selling as lala mirch, which also seem to be names given willy-nilly because of the shape and color of the chili. Just a whole bonanza of unspecificity. And back to the tomato, I really don't know much about tomatoes either, and with my very minimal research, I decided I really just want an indeterminate variety, but the disease resistance was a bit of a bonus. So I previously mentioned I had 4 plants outside in solo cups, and here they are. These were given to me by Wombus as well. So going through them is, this one over here is an ahi margarita, and yeah, it's been going off to the side a lot, and yeah, it's not where it should be in the second week of June, so if I do get around to planting these, I'm not gonna kid you guys, ahi margarita, I don't think I'm gonna be transplanting that, or maybe I'll put it in like, 1 or 2 gallon container and see what happens from there. And then this one over here is an ahi panka, but when I tried googling that, I really didn't know what to expect, because a panka pepper refers to a specific type of dehydrated pepper, like how chipotle refers to dehydrated jalapeno. So I'm guessing ahi panka might be like the raw form of that, but I couldn't find any pictures of a raw form on Google search. I just saw dehydrated peppers, which is probably, panka refers to a dehydrated form of some other pepper. So, maybe when I plant that, I'll find out what an ahi panka is. And then these 2 over here, these seem to be ahi confusion. They're a white ahi variety, with the, like a fold at the end type of shape. And right now these plants aren't looking the best because I just let them outside for 3 days without watering. And when you leave a probably root-bound plant in a cup this small for 3 days, it'll like absorb that pretty fast and get dehydrated. So the smaller the container, the more often you're rewatering, and I've kind of been lacking on that. I've been giving all of my attention those plants that I recently planted in pots, in fabric grow bags outside. But yeah, maybe sometime soon I'll probably get like 2 or 3 gallon containers for these 3 plants over here, or maybe just 2 if I don't really have space for duplicates. Yeah. Wombus, I'm sorry for killing a lot of the plants that you gave me. I had this ahi chocobamba that I don't know, it's just started dying on me for some reason. But yeah, I think that is the end of the garden tour so far.